Yeah, so can anyone confirm me like whether you're able to see my screen or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So see here, before going to coding directly, so just I will showcase that one simple web page where you can easily understand what is my intention. So just imagine that this is one web page. So technically in web designing, we use the word called web pages or web design. That is also will see that like what is the meaning of that respective terminology. We'll see in technically, so that you will clarify with the live example. That's what I'm taking this example. So first, before starting that, what is HTML and what is CS, how they are interacting, everything. First, I will give you a brief intro about the words. So generally, as we already aware that what is browser? A browser is a software or an application which is used to interact with some servers, and browser is acting as generally client in generally. So like Chrome or Firefox or Edge, these are all we technically called as browsers, and basically which will help you to connect the internet and where you can see the content on the browsers. And if you are able to see my screen, like whatever the you are able to see my page, so this is technically called as web pages or web page, I can say that. So this is we called one web page. So this is one web page, and when you click on about us, this is the another web page. If you see here, yeah, this is the another web page like that. When you click on, like when you click on the contact, this is the another web page like this. So whatever the pages you are able to see here individually, each one we call web page. Technically a web page is a document or a page where it can render on the web browser only. So that means whatever the pages you are able to view on the web browsers, like as I mentioned, Chrome or Edge or Firefox, that each and every pages we technically called as web pages. These web pages are two types in general: static web page, dynamic web page. Static web page means the web page, it is only meant for showcasing the information to the customer and user. There is no interactions allowed in the application. That means it is only for readable purpose, just like a newspaper or just like a blogger, so where you cannot perform any operation, just you can able to see the content, you can close that. So just as like about us, if you see the about us in this particular website, it is a simple, see that simple page. If you see here, some information about the Fratellonitech is there, and here some information about what services we are providing and what is the objectives we have, and some kind of links we have. That's all. Nothing you can submit or you can download, or you can what we can say that you can modify the data, I can say that. So you cannot modify the data what I'm showcasing here, just you can see and you can just close it. So these type of web pages technically called as static web pages. So static web page means it is only meant for showcasing the information, that's all. And when we coming to the second category, dynamic web page. So dynamic means you can do some interaction on the respective web page, you can do some operations on the web page. Like example, login page, you can do the login operation, registration, or Facebook page, you can able to see the dynamically the content. In this case, if you see the contact page, you can able to see the, you can able to submit some data to this particular site. Like see, let's talk is there, where you can fill some data and where you can submit to the server, this data will go to the server. So these sort of operations if you are able to do on the web page, then that pages we call dynamic web pages. So static means just we can able to read the content, dynamic means you can read the content, you can send the content. That means you can do some operations like addition, deletion, insertion, updation, or downloading, uploading. These all sort of operations you can perform on the web page. So that type of web pages we call dynamic web pages. And now coming to that, a collection of static and dynamic when coming to this case only. So here we have some sort of static pages and some sort of dynamic pages. So these web pages only, the collection of these web pages only technically called as website. What we call website. A website is a collection of static and dynamic web pages. So this is what a simply a concept of website. And if someone wants to develop a website means you have to create individually web pages, and you need to give a link to navigate from one page to another page as shown on here. This is we call, anyway you know that, menu. So this menu is nothing but it will allow a customer to navigate from one page to another page. If I want to move from contact to about, I can just click on here. So like that, if you collaboratively create a collection of web pages, then we called it is a website. So is it clear up to here? So I told you what is browser, what is web page, what is static and dynamic web page, and what is website. Is these points clear for everybody? Can anyone confirm? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now whatever the websites we are going to be developing, or what are the web application we are going to be developing. So now to create such kind of website, so first of all we have to understand how to create a web pages. So that web pages, how we will create or how it will be looks like. So the process of designing the website and the process of designing a web application is known as web designing. So web designing is a process of creating a web page such a way that it should satisfy the client requirement. So it is a process or planning how we will do the project, or how it will be showcasing the outcome to the customer, or how the project will be looks like in the future. So these things we are covering in the generally web designing. And coming to the web development, the same thing, if you're integrating with the backend code by connecting the database, then we call it as a web development. So the major difference between development and design is, design is only talks about front end, it doesn't do any kind of interaction with the server. But whereas web development will also involves front end, and also it will communicate with the server. Like example, we will write some backend code like Java or Python, and that will store your data, that will fetch you the data from the respective database which is connected. So that is we call web development. So developer will do the development, designer will do the designing, whereas full stack developer will do both. So if a single person able to do the design and development, then we can call him as a full stack developer, like front end and back end, I can say that. So that is the basic difference. Okay, so now web designing is a process of creating a website, I can say that simply. Okay, so now how we will create it, or how we will do that. So for that only we should require a minimal set of technologies called HTML, CSS, JavaScript, basic level. If you want to develop a website, these are the things is enough. But addition to that, anyway, as I mentioned, Bootstrap, this is the template designing framework. So CSS framework we call. So whatever the template I'm showcasing, to do that, if you are using only CSS, it will take months of time. Like the entire this Fratella website, if you want to do manually, it takes 1 month of time. But the same thing, if you are performing with the Bootstrap, within 1 week you can able to finish it. So that is the variation between CS and Bootstrap. Anything, everything, both the things will cover as part of our course. But first we will understand how HTML and CSS JavaScript relevant to each other. Okay, so first thing, what is HTML? So HTML is purely, it's a markup language, or I can say the tag oriented language. Means in HTML we never write any script or logic or programming, it's a simple straightforward tags we are writing. So that means it's a simple, I can say that it's a by heart manner, I can say that. So there is no logical implementation or logical thinking is involvement. So just whatever the tags given by the HTML people, that we are consuming, and we are going to be developing some content. So that is the HTML. So HTML is a language or a web technology which will help you to create the static web pages. So again I'm telling, it's easy to create the static web page, not the dynamic. It will only allow to create the static web pages. That means it will mainly showcase your data as a web page. Now whatever the images we are able to see here, whatever the content you are able to see here, like this content or the home or about us, or whatever the, like, see everything like content, whatever the the paragraphs or the content or the numbers, whatever you are able to see here, this is because of HTML we are able to achieve. So HTML can show the content, images, videos, audios on the web page. So whatever the content you are able to view on the web page, that is because of HTML we can able to achieve. So is it clear everybody? So 2 points here. One is HTML is used to create the static web pages, and which is used to showcase the videos, audios, and images, links, text, and also forms. So this is the basic advantage of the HTML. So totally these are the things what we are going to be showcasing using HTML. Like as I mentioned, first one, content, that is text, links, and then images, videos, audios, and then as I mentioned, forms. For forms means, as I shown on the web page, this is we technically called as form. Okay, so to showcase this form also HTML only useful. So these are the things. Even one more thing we missed, documents. So documents also we can showcase on the web page, like PDFs and Word document, that also we can show on web page. So these are all the contents which we are showcasing by using HTML, just for showcasing, not to do any interaction, not to do any kind of styling, just as how it is, it will show like that, that's all. So that is the use of the HTML. So and also the web page, if you want to create, you have to start with HTML. Without that we can't create any web page. So this is very sure. So if you want to start a web page, whether it is a dynamic or static, you have to start with HTML only. Is it clear as of now, everybody? Any doubt as of now?
Clear, sir.
Great, great. So now to the particular content whatever we showed, it is just like a black and white. So by default HTML doesn't give any styles, animations or effects or styles, colors, nothing it will give you. So just it will show the data how it looks like as it is. So that is purely black and white. So it is not really effective, it is not really more visible to the audience. So that's why we should make that content more visibly good and graphically good. So to do that we will use a technology called CSS, cascading style sheets. So CSS is a technology which will help you to make your website more colorful, more stylish. So to add such kind of styles and colors we will use CSS. And CSS also, again, it is a not at all programming language, it is just attribute based language. Means here also we doesn't require any logical thinking, just they given set of attributes, based on our requirement we have to consume it, that's all. So that is also very traditional things. And in this case if you see here, we got some background color and this alignment and this drop down, and if you see this alignment to the left and right and the ticks, whatever the ticks you are able to see here. And here if you see some style is coming like rotation and the overlay effect, and whatever the things we are able to see here, background image. So these are all because of CSS only we can achieve. So in any website these are all the things we can achieve due to the CSS technology, or I can say that Bootstrap. The combination of CSS and Bootstrap we can able to achieve it. And so the applications of CSS are, so application of HTML is to display the contents as I mentioned. And when come back to the CSS, what is the main application as I mentioned all of you? First one, styles, definitely. Second one, colors. And one, sizes, like width, height, or whatever the sizes we are using. And the next one, alignments. So alignments means our left side, our right side, center, where you want to display the content. So that all. And also effects. So as I mentioned, like on hover it is rotating or something is happening, right? So that is we call effects. Or animations. So if you want to implement animation, that also by using CS only we can do. So these are the things what we can able to achieve by using CSS. So any doubts as of now? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Great. And now
No, sir.
yeah, tell me, tell me. Hello, any doubt? Can I go? Can anyone?
Clear, sir.
Yeah, great. So the third one combination is JavaScript. So now JavaScript will help you to do the a little interactions on the web page without help of the server. See, very important here, without help of the server. Like if you want to do the interactions using Java or Python or .NET, you require server to deploy in your application. But without that server or without the particular deployment, if you want to perform some operations, yes, we can achieve or we can able to do that by using client-side scripting languages like JavaScript. So JavaScript is a client-side scripting language. So it is also a kind of programming only. It is similar to your Java or your Python. So if you have a knowledge on Java, Python, JavaScript is nothing to learn anything new. It is quite similar to that. but only a little syntax is different. That I anyway will train you how to do that. And but purely it will run in your browser only. It doesn't require any compiler or interpreter or any sort of server. So purely it will run in your browser and it will show your logic. But if you want to add some sort of any interactions on your web page without using server, then we can implement the JavaScript. So JavaScript will make your static web page as a dynamic web page. So by adding some events, I can say that, and interactions, validations, these are the common things we can perform by using JavaScript. So validations, interactions and events, so these are the common achievement. So by adding this we can able to convert our static web page into dynamic web page, whereas in HTML and CSS both will do the static only, it cannot do the dynamic. But whereas JavaScript can make the web page as a dynamic. Why? Because you can able to interact with the web page, you can able to do some sort of operations on the web page. So such because of JavaScript we can able to achieve. So this is the relation how it will be in the web page. If you see here the form whatever I shown you like the form, so this is because of HTML we can able to achieve. But the width of the respective text box and the left alignment and right alignment you have a map. So this we are because of CSS. And now assume that just I'm clicking on that, see when I'm hovering blue color is coming, this is also because of CSS. When I click on here, see now you're getting a validation like you need to submit the form, so you need to fill the name. So this is because of JavaScript we can able to do that. Okay, so likewise by using these three technologies as a combination we can able to do the a simple web page creation. That is how the web designing will start in our course or our career. Okay, so likewise we can do the web page creations. So as of now, any doubt? As of now, any doubt? All of you. See here you are getting one
No, sir.
validation. See that. Please enter a valid email. Okay. So this is because of you are getting what do you call JavaScript. So again this text box, this button is coming because of HTML, and the style what are the blue color and the alignment how we are combining a single component, this is because of CSS. And when you click on the subscribe button you are getting a message called please enter a valid email, so this is you are getting because of JavaScript. So likewise the three things will get together as a single web designing technology. So with that we can able to create a simple website. Is this if you're clear, then I will showcase a simple example by adding these three one by one. Is it everyone clear or anything you want to repeat? So just confirm so that I can go for a simple example so that you can understand in lively also. Any doubt as of now?
No,
No,
sir.
Very good.
No, sir.
Very good. Yeah, I'm going to start. See, here my intention very simple. As like subscribe, one text box and one button I want to create. Very simple. One text box and one button. So what I want to do here, when I click on the button, just I need to read the value from the respective box and I want to make a square. Very simple. Square of it. Like if I'm entering 5, I need to get output called 25. If I'm entering 10, should be 100. That's all. Very simple example. And also I want to just highlight a button in some basic color, maybe in blue color. We can just want to highlight some background color blue color. That three things I will collaboratively how we will do, will simple example I will take it. So that's by that you can understand each one how it is. Yeah, so someone asked the question, just a second, in chat box they mentioned the question. Yeah, if you have any questions you can ping me anywhere, Nana. Chat box, yeah. So what the question he mentioned? Yeah, sir, what is the difference between JavaScript servlet? How they both work? Yes, great. Good question, Nana. See, as I mentioned, that's why I mentioned the repeatedly mentioning one word called JavaScript is a client-side scripting. See, uh, JavaScript is also scripting, but it will execute in the client machine without server. Okay, but the JavaScript doesn't have the capability of communicating with the database directly. Can do only the operations on the front end with using local storage. It cannot connect the database and it cannot do any kind of deployments. But whereas servlet is a part of advanced Java, and it is a server-side scripting language. It's a server-side. It's not like client-side. That means the servlet or JSP also to make your static web page into dynamic web page as like Python. Python people also don't confuse. It is equivalent to Python. Now these technologies, why we call server-side means these technologies, if you want to run on your mission, you require to deploy on the server. It cannot do independently. That means with your plain browser, with your only laptop, you cannot do execution of that. You require a server. So once you deploy into the server the respective application, then only it will process the request and response. So likewise, the servlet is a server-side application, and also these applications can have a capability of communicating with the database. So if you want to communicate with the DB like insertion, deletion, updation, you require to write code either in servlet or JSP or in the Python. So you cannot do with using only JavaScript. So JavaScript can only do local operations only. I hope you the answer is clear your question, but still if you have, raise your hand, Nana. So who asked this question? Like, yeah, Nilesh Swami. Is it clear? Is your doubt clarified? Yes, great, great. And anyone else, any doubts? Sirane, if you have any questions, you can ask me. And also, like meanwhile, like every 10 days or 15 days, I will provide a session for only doubts clarifications every 10 days like that. So where everyone can involve in the doubts, only for doubts you can join and you can ask the doubts. And it's not mean that you cannot ask the doubts in the regular class. You can ask always. Like if you can raise the hand, if I'm in the lecture, you can just raise your hand. Meanwhile I can stop and you can ask your word, or else you can chart, you can type in the chart also. By that also I can clarify. Okay, but don't be sit idle without understanding that. Okay, but maybe really these are the some little what you can say, the lesser complexity, so that you may not get more and more doubts. But definitely Java and Python once started, definitely you will get more doubts and utilize that chance. Okay, yeah. So, sir, other than servlets, do you have any way to connect database? Yes, as I mentioned, right, like we have different server-side technologies. Like example, if you go for Java, we have servlets, JSP, Spring, and struts. And if you go for Python, we can connect, and even core Java also. By core Java also, you can able to connect. No need of servlets only. By core Java also, you can able to connect with the database. And also we have, for that only, we have a technology called JDBC. And coming to the Python people, from Python they can connect, and Django, from Django framework they can connect. Similarly for from PHP we can connect. Similarly we can connect from .NET, like ADO.NET we have. So from the respective server side technology we can able to connect as like Node.js also. There is no only one technology, we have any n number of technology in the market to connect with the database. Yeah. Anything else, any other questions? I think this question is clarified. So who is the Vasudev? Is it clear for Vasudev? Yeah, someone asked the question again. See, same relevant question, Naveen. Like, is it possible to connect with Node.js to DB? Yes, exactly. You can create, you can connect with the DB, because Node.js is also server-side technology. It is not a client-side. Node.js is a framework of JavaScript, but still it is a server-side technology. Everything, every server-side technology can able to communicate with the DB. Still any more questions? Or is it possible use WAMP server? Yes, for PHP people we can use WAMP, but for Java and Python people we cannot use. WAMP server is only for PHP people. Those who learned PHP, those who want to work on the PHP, for them only WAMP or LAMP. But for Java people, we will use Eclipse with Apache Tomcat, and for Python people we use PyCharm with Apache Tomcat. That we will use. WAMP is not required for in both the categories. For Python people will use PyCharm, and for Java people will use Eclipse. We are not using the WAMP server anyway. And any other questions? Yes, Syed Praveen. What is the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript? See, Nana, TypeScript is also enhancement for JavaScript actually, but when we want to work with AngularJS or React.js, so TypeScript is the core component for the respective two. That even though Angular or React.js JavaScript frameworks, but they are using TypeScript as an internal language for that particular technologies. And one more, the major difference, TypeScript is purely object oriented language as like core Java, but JavaScript is object based language, a smaller difference but almost similar to each other. When we go for TypeScript, it is purely talks in terms of classes, but JavaScript we can write class without class, anyway we can write it down. So simpler I can say that is TypeScript is superior to JavaScript, that's all. Both are same, but it's superior, have more powers. Okay, okay. Sir, can I use NetBeans instead of Eclipse? Yes, you can use, there is no doubt, but what the problem is, NetBeans or MyEclipse are paid versions, and also most companies are not using the NetBeans, or most companies are using Eclipse. That's the reason we are following, but we can use. Sir, can I use NetBeans instead? Yeah, same question. Okay, okay. So I think as of now, questions clear. So anything else? Anyone? See, no, no. Everyone has equal right to ask the questions. It's not for one person or one girl. So everyone, anyone, you can ask. Is it clear, everybody? Is it clear, everyone? So I hope you understand the relation between the like whatever the tech, what we can say that the components what I explained to you. Yeah, great. Yes. So Sinana, so I'm just yeah, any doubts, please ping me within 2 minutes. I'm closing the session and restarting the session. So just give me 5 minutes. So by 7:10 again I will start the class. So any doubts you can ask me now. Otherwise, I'm just closing again. I'm starting. Just within 1 minute I will start the class. But I'm closing just because of the recording is exceeding. So I'm stopping that. That's why. So do you have any doubts as of now? No doubts. Okay, great then. Then Sinana, we just what we can say that just get away from the what you can call after 3 minutes you can come back like 7:10. It's 7:06 now. Just by 7:10 you can join once again. We will take one example to showcase this all three topics and we'll close the session. Okay, for today. Yeah, fine.